Bring up. He's one of my personal favorites. He used to be a radio host, and now he works on the corner, I think. I don't know. Give it up for Carl Sutton!
So that's some millennial music there to get us started. Yeah, thanks for, killing that intro for me. I used to work in radio. Some of you might recognize the name Carl Stutzman. I use Carl Dean or Carl Stutzman, depending on where I am. I am going to go ahead and take a guess, and please don't hate me for this. This right here, this is the fucking Fox News crew, right? Right? Am I wrong? Okay, so you've listened to 95.3 MNC at some point. You've probably heard my voice. And because of that, working in radio and working in conservative news talk for as long as I have, you develop a reputation of being a by-the-books news guy. So I'm going to get this out of the way up front so it doesn't shock you and get it out of the way in my first joke. Are we ready?
Yes.
Pussy. Can be kind of a shock sometimes for people who have never heard me swear out loud, so I just want to get that one there. I worked in radio for 15 years. About 8 of that was here in the South Bend Elkhart market. Market number 119, shit's happening here. And then a little bit of it was down in Indianapolis, where if you stand up for your ethics, they kick you out the fucking door. So here I am back here. It is good to be in Goshen and to do my first real set in my hometown. I love Elkhart County, and this is going to be the shittiest flex you've ever heard, but my family has been here since pre-Civil War times. So when I say terrible things about Elkhart County, understand it's because no one in my family was successful enough to get the fuck out. I tried, but goddamn it, here I am. I have a 5-year-old daughter. She goes to Concord East Side. I should say that I am part of a Concord family, not a Goshen family, so hate me now if you want to. At least we get to keep our fucking school mascot. Although they did take away his gun. Did anybody else know that shit? I found out about this about 2 years ago. One of my friends was like, hey, have you seen the new Concord logo? And I was like, it looks like the exact same fucking logo to me. They're like, they took away his gun. Goddamn PC culture. Taking away the Minuteman's gun. But you guys ended up, it's the Red Hawks, correct? That's where Goshen is now, the Red Hawks. Yet, meanwhile, the Wawasee Warriors standing strong. Yeah. I don't understand where the line on some of this shit is, but it is kind of the way that it is. My favorite part about coming back home and working in local radio was that I got to do a lot of stuff locally and give back to my community where I was. The problem is that when you become the nice guy in the community, you can't make daily observations about the real shit that's happening. For example, right now, somewhere in Elkhart County, a guy who got arrested for a DUI last night is buying his very first scooter. That makes me happy. I know that Elkhart is the Elks, and I don't know what the hell the Goshen is, but I feel Elkhart County's unofficial mascot is a skinhead in a wife beater with a neck tattoo driving a moped. They're fucking everywhere, and it's summer, so they're coming, baby. I had a very Elkhart County start to my day. I got up, took my daughter to go get some dance pictures done at Robin's Dance School. And then from there, I stopped at Martin's, where I recognized 4 people that I know from outside of whatever the hell it is that I do for my job. Because you can't go anywhere without running into somebody that you know. Especially me. Look at my wife's face. She's the one right over there. She knows exactly. I'm not joking. Look at her face. We can't go anywhere without me running into someone I know. And then I followed it up by going to Nelson's. God damn it. Isn't Nelson's delicious? That's the one thing you miss the most. And in my new job as an RV plant delivery driver, we'll talk more about that later, I do deliver to some of the plants that are right down there south next to the Nelson's location. Just know that when the apocalypse finally happens, that's where you'll find me. I'm holding up at Nelson's, and goddamn it if I'm going to get that building up. I hope you all have been enjoying the weather. What was it? Today it was a high of 84 with some rain that never actually happened. Last week it was in the 40s. So last week it was October. This week it's the end of August. If I do my math correctly, that means we'll be at the beginning of winter by next week, right? So we're going to cycle back around. And if you compound that annually over 52 weeks a year, by 2025, we'll be at the end of days. And that's pretty fucking exciting to me. I wonder what type of apocalyptic survivor I'm going to be, but probably not as good of an apocalyptic survivor as the guy who got drunk and is driving a moped. Because that dude he'll do whatever the fuck it takes. If I had a DUI and they took away my license, I would just crawl into a corner. My first thought wouldn't be, oh, I'm just going to go over here and buy a scooter. That's going to be my future. Although that's a good business idea if you're looking for something to invest in, a scooter shop directly next door to the police department. I guarantee you, it would work perfect 100% of the time. So, born and raised here, graduated from Concord, fourth generation graduated from Concord, despite my ultimate white privilege look and my 558 credit score. I grew up in a trailer park. I know, tough beginnings. Right there off County Road 15, just south of Middlebury. Some people know because it used to be a fucking swamp. The old people remember. There's that factory right there, and then there was a fucking swamp, and that's where I grew up. I mean, they put some houses there, but it was the same shit, different day. By the way, real quick, what is your name? Coleman? Okay. I actually really like the name Coleman, but for the sake of a joke, I'm going to do it in about 3 minutes. Your name is Michael. Can you be okay with that? Okay, cool. So growing up, it's just Michael. You got it. Don't forget. It's really fucking important. Okay. Growing up in the trailer park, it was interesting because you never knew day to day what the fuck your life was going to be like. I distinctly remember being about 8 years old, being rushed out of my house by the police officers because my neighbor's shed exploded. They were making meth. Big shot. They weren't Amish, though. That's a whole other conversation. I distinctly remember being pulled out of my house when I was about 9 or 10 years old because they busted a marijuana trafficker 2 doors down from me, and he ran, and nobody knew where to find him, and so they went trailer to trailer. I would not want to be the deputy that had to draw that card. If you've ever lived in a trailer park, there is a combination of stale smoke, spilled beer, and cat urine that you will never fucking forget. You will step into someone's house for the first time and you'll be like, oh yeah, Marlboros. That's great. That's fantastic. How many cats do you have? Just 3? Oh, I would have guessed 4. You're doing a good job taking care of the place. I don't know how you learned about sex, but I learned about sex for the first time at the trailer park. This isn't your joke. But there's a guy named Michael in this one, okay? Michael Starkey, my fat friend who lived across the street, is the one who taught me about sex. One day, he comes over. I should preface this by saying that I feel like everyone who grew up in the hood or the white hood, which is what I call the trailer park, it's the white hood if the houses have wheels. And his dad was the one that would supply us with porn, because that's what you wanted when you were a kid. You just want to see boobs. And it was magazines back then, you fucking Gen Zers. And all of them had bush, because old people at that point still weren't up to shaving. And he comes up to us and he says, you will not believe what my dad did to my mom last night. He put his penis on her head. I'm like, the fuck? That's fucking weird. He's like, no, dude, that's sex. No, I'm the smartest kid on this goddamn block, and I know that's not sex. I've seen enough movies and TV to know that sex has something to do with feet. Because when they pan away, right? They don't show you what the fuck's gonna happen, and her feet are this way, and his feet are this way. So that's sex. Mike Starkey taught me about sex. And then we had that weird neighbor who was all too happy to give us pornography when we were that age. Like, he would invite us into our house and be like, oh, hey, here's the latest issues of this. I promise that I think that I was molested. It's a bit of a dark one, but but there are these things called repressed memories that'll hit you out of fucking nowhere. That might end up being one of them later on. Thanks to this fucking guy. And I loved growing up in the trailer park for the fact that it gave me an insight to life that was not necessarily better than mine. But the problem with the trailer park was I get beat up a lot. You in the front row, I don't know you, we've not had this conversation before. What's your name? That joke was for me, you guys. None of you found that funny, that was entirely for me. Michael? Yeah. Michael! Give me a fucking trigger warning for names to be Michael. I got beat up a lot by a kid named Michael at the trailer park. I understand as an adult now why I got beat up a lot by him, because he had a really unfortunate last name, and if he didn't beat up me, he was going to get his ass kicked by somebody. Does that make sense? Right? He beat me up so he didn't get beat up. But that doesn't mean I didn't fucking hate him any less. I moved out of the trailer park when I was 13 years old. I have not seen Michael since then, and I'm okay with that. But there's the grudge you hold with your old bullies, right? Fucking keep up with what's going on with their life. Here I am, 32 years old, a failed radio personality with a $15 an hour job delivering packages. Might not sound glamorous to you, but Michael died of a drug overdose in 2016. Fuck that guy. Who would have known my 8th birthday wish finally came true? If it helps, he was about 8 feet away from his front door, too, so I'm guessing he was probably trying to go for help. That fucking guy. I'm at the point now, at 32, where I feel like I have to start making real-life decisions. Although what's interesting is I have a kid at work who's 19, and he said the same thing. He's like, I gotta decide what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. I'm like, fuck you, kid. But at 32, you either have to give up on your dreams and start collecting hats, or really decide what direction your life is gonna take. So I'm taking a shot at this whole comedy thing. At 32, though, I only have about 8 months until I'm 33. Both Jesus and Alexander the Great died at the age of 33. So I have 8 months to either start my own religion or conquer Persia. And I don't think that either of those things are going to happen. I think about religion a lot, specifically Jesus, because if it wouldn't have worked today, right? And I'm not talking about the miracle, the burning bush, whatever the fuck goes into his background story. It's just marketing and branding. This guy fucking sucked. His name was Jesus. Incorrect. His name in Hebrew was Yeshua. Yeshua, roughly translated into Roman, is Jesus. But then the English translation of the Hebrew Yeshua is Josh. There is a religion, billions of people across this planet, devoted to a guy named fucking Josh. I don't know that works today. Nobody's following a guy on Instagram named Josh. No one's excited to get on YouTube and see what the fuck Josh was up to this week. He turned water into wine. Fucking fake. Someone edited that shit. Get this guy out of here. Nobody wants to follow a dude named Josh. A lot of weird shit going on recently with my daughter. She's 5 years old. Last week, I was putting her to bed. Admittedly, I was stoned. I don't get stoned in front of my kid. I want to make that very clear. I do it outside, and then I hang out with her because it's a lot more bearable. She can be a bitch sometimes. Parents know this. Okay, let's be honest. Parents, have you ever looked at your kid? Your kid 5 seconds ago had a total meltdown, and then 20 minutes later, they're like, oh, will you take me to get ice cream? It's like, fuck no, you stupid bitch. What the fuck are you talking about? If an adult did some shit like that to you, if a guy punched you in the face and then came to you 5 minutes later, was like, dude, can I borrow $5? You'd be like, fuck you, Michael! So we're laying in bed. She starts crying. We just finished stories. There's nothing for her to cry about. She's sobbing. And I look at her and I'm like, hey, babe, you know, what's going on? What's wrong? And she says, and I quote, Daddy, I don't want to die again. The fuck did you just say? I don't want to die again? Turns out, kids under a certain age can relive their past lives. In one instance, down in Georgia, a kid who was a baseball player, or was a baseball player in former life, identified one of his former life's best friends and where he died, having no prior knowledge about that guy. That's some fucked up shit. And here I am, experiencing all of this at 11 o'clock at night, stoned out of my fucking mind. Daddy, I don't want to go anywhere. Well, I know where I'm going. I'm fucking leaving. I am not prepared for this shit. You can deal with this on your own. Ask your mom. This is not the sort of stuff that I am in the mental space to be able to handle right now. I have to deal with all these fucking kittens later. We're just going to keep on going. By the way, this is where I'll end things. My wife and I do rescue cats. We've had about 120, 150, somewhere in there, right? She's not saying anything. I've already embarrassed her enough. As if being married to me for 8 years hadn't prepared her for this moment. And we've got about 10 kittens right now. They're all up for adoption. Catsnip. This is my shameless plug. And we had 3 black kittens for a while, and we love the kittens that we help, so we refer to them as our babies. But in public, I have to stop referring to them as my black babies. The optics are not good. A white guy walking around the UP mall on the phone talking about his abandoned black babies that are for sale. I only had to be told once. Stop that shit. Then more kittens came in. And unfortunately, those 3 inadvertently became just, and I wish this wasn't true, the blacks. Example sentence. One of the blacks shit on the floor again. Why is it every time I open the door to go outside, one of the blacks tries to escape? Big guy in the corner. You just smiled. You didn't really laugh at that one. Do you understand why that's funny? Because I'm insinuating that I have captured 3 black children and I'm holding them hostage inside my house. They're just kittens. Oh! Dude, real life though, kitten moms are the fucking worst. Cats make the worst. They will abandon their children for no fucking reason at all. Not joking. Cats do not want to be moms. If they see a reason to get rid of their kids, they're like, fuck this shit, I'm out. There should be some other joke in there, but because I already went down the black path, if I go too far, I'm going to be very racist very quickly. So, there was one conversation that's really kind of headed out this whole thing with the blacks, and it was a text that I got from my wife 3-4 days ago, and it said, I'm running late from work. You're going to have to feed the kittens on your own. And this is where it gets interesting. The blacks will want to eat first, but don't. Feed the others, and then the blacks get the leftovers. Not a good spot. Guys, I just want to say thank you for coming out today. We have a great list of comedians and performers. Hopefully we'll get a chance to do this again. Stone is absolutely hilarious. If you've not had a chance to check out his stuff on YouTube. Also, Kevin's Magic. He was showing me some of the tricks before the show, and I think you're really going to like it. So thank you very much, and Black Kittens Matter. I'll leave it on that one. See you guys later.